Good morning. Before we get going, I'd like to apologise because last week I didn't get any videos out, and the reason for that is that it was my lad's half term, and so we were doing stuff together, and I simply didn't have any time to make any videos. So as I say, apologies for that, but I'm back again this week, and I actually want to talk about something that I talked about in my previous video, and that's Nvidia's Geforce Now. Now, in my previous video, I talked about the greed from Activision Blizzard and the fact that I thought that them pulling their games from the service was, well, just that, greed, and that it was going to affect Nvidia's Geforce Now, but it also affects us, the user. You know, the games we've bought on services such as Steam should be available to us however we choose to use them. We've bought them after all. But no. Activision Blizzard decided that they were going to pull their games from the service when it went live. So although you're paying your money and you may have bought games specifically for the service, you're not going to be able to play them on Geforce Now. And since then, it's transpired that Bethesda have done the same. And so now we have a situation where we've got two games companies, developers, publishers, whatever you want to call them, pulling their games from the service. And if we just have a look, go across, you can see the games that have gone. We've got Dishonored, Dishonored 2, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, Doom, Everspace, Fallout 3, Fallout 76, Fallout New Vegas, Prey, Quake Champions, Rage 2, Elder Scrolls Online, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim Special Edition, The Evil Within 2, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Wolfenstein The New Order, and Wolfenstein The Old Blood. Now, Wolfenstein Youngblood, for some reason, is staying there, possibly because they don't really care about that one. I don't know. But again, as I said about Activision Blizzard, this seems to be driven entirely by greed. And when it comes from a company like Bethesda, who were a company that many of us liked, only a couple of years ago, they seem to have gone full circle and become, a shadow of their former selves. And now, like Activision Blizzard, like EA, they seem to be driven entirely by the bottom line. And so we're left again. If you've ordered any of these games on Geforce Now, you're stuck. Say you've got a low-powered laptop, and you thought, oh, Geforce Now looks great. It allows me to play games that I buy on Steam. And I'm gonna go and buy Dishonored, or I'm gonna go and buy Fallout 3 or something like that. Or Doom. I actually saw someone saying underneath the comment made by Nvidia itself that they bought Doom. And so I think it was under here. Was it under here? Anyway, it was somewhere. On one of the stories, I think somebody said they'd actually gone out and bought Doom because they couldn't play Doom before, but now with Geforce Now, they can stream it. And unfortunately, no, they can't anymore because it's gone, along with all these other games from Bethesda. And as I say, and I said this in my previous video, these are games you've bought. Nvidia aren't streaming games that you've bought on their service, they're just allowing you to stream games you already own. So what's going on here is these companies don't like the idea, and I touched on this in my previous video, they don't like the idea that you own the game. And the reality is you don't own the game. What they want to do is they want you to have it on Steam, and then they want to put it on a streaming service and have you buy it again on a streaming service that they can get more revenue for. That's what this is all about. And it could actually kill Geforce Now, which is in a fledgling state, admittedly, but it is a service that could be one of the best streaming services out there, especially for people who have a large Steam library. But if the publishers are going to be extremely greedy like this and pull their games, even though, as I say, you own those games, you've already bought those games, then Geforce Now is going to die. Because it could be that next week we get another announcement, and that's undermining confidence in the service. So we've gone from a situation where people are looking at this, and I was looking at this and thinking, actually, this is a really good service. This has a lot of potential. And the idea that I can actually play my own games on this service and just pay the £5 a month to be able to access them anywhere I like on a low-powered laptop or a low-powered PC or even some handheld devices, it was a no-brainer. It would have been such a good service. But no. The companies like Activision Blizzard, companies like Bethesda, they don't want that. They want us to pay, and then they want us to pay again, and then they want us to pay again. They keep wanting to resell us the same product. And I, for one, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to subscribe to another service just so I can stream games I already own, when we've got Geforce Now that are offering us a service that actually is fair. You're paying a fair price to have a service that allows you to stream games that you've bought. And you've bought them. You've bought them. I keep stressing this. You've bought them. In effect, these companies are saying you are not allowed to have access to things you've bought. It beggars belief, honestly. Or at least it would if it wasn't the bloody gaming industry and they are so bloody greedy. They want a cut of the Nvidia pie. That's what this is about. And if they can't get a cut of the Nvidia pie, they're going to pull their games and they're going to put them somewhere else where they can get a cut of the pie. Maybe they'll put them on, the Stadia thing that's coming from Google. They'll put them on there because they can sell them to you again on there, so you can buy them on Steam and then you can buy them on Google Stadia again. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not buying games on Google Stadia, because if I buy games on Google Stadia, I may not still have them. At least here, okay, they've pulled them. I can still go to my PC and play them. But it's not ideal, is it? And Nvidia are going to have an uphill battle on their hands trying to keep games on the service. And people are going to be leaving the service if they can't play the games they've bought, especially if they've gone out and bought those games specifically to be able to play them on Geforce Now. As I said before, confidence is being undermined. It's bullshit. It's bullshit and it's greed. And I said it in my previous video, and I'm bloody sick, sorry, and tired of it. As I said to Activision Blizzard, I'll say it to Bathesda. Fuck you, Bethesda, and fuck the syphilitic horse you rode in on, because this is just pure, simple, unmitigated greed, and I'm sick of it. Sick of it. Nvidia can say whatever they like. I mean, they've said it here. What is it they've said? Oh, come on. As we approach... Don't you love the web? As we approach a paid service, some publishers may choose to remove the game before the trial period ends. Ultimately, oh, for God's sake, piss off. Ultimately, they maintain control over their content and decide whether the game you purchase includes streaming on Geforce Now. Meanwhile, others will bring games back as they continue to realise Geforce Now's value. But will they realise it's got value? I mean, look, the way I look at it, these companies are being short-sighted, because with Geforce Now, it's offering a situation where you can look at Geforce Now, or you could, if these companies weren't so bloody stupid, you'd look at Geforce Now and go, oh, I can buy that now because I can play it. Whereas before I couldn't buy it because I couldn't play it. So having Geforce Now there is encouraging people who couldn't afford to buy those games before because they couldn't afford the price of entry for the hardware. There's now a situation where they can buy those games, or they could buy those games and then play them on a low-level system through Geforce Now. So companies like Bethesda, companies like Activision Blizzard were making money, or were due to make money from this. As the system stays there, more people will buy those games so they can play them on Geforce Now. But now they've removed them, so people aren't buying them, are they? So they're losing revenue because they're bloody short-sighted. It's stupid, it's greedy, it's just moronic. And it just shows how the corporate mind works. Oh, for God's sake. We're probably going to see more of this, and Geforce Now could die. And it will be an absolute travesty and a real shame. But, what do you do? What do you do? There's nothing we can do about it. Oh, another day, another story about a publisher being greedy. Who'd have thought it?